Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I have another easy layering stencil from the Ton Stamps. You can find them at thetonstamps.com. This is the Pretty Peony close-up layering stencil, and it has 4 layers. And the first thing you'll notice is it's pretty large. This is a 6.5 by 6 3/4 piece of paper. So 6.5 wide, 6 3/4 length. So I do have it on my waffle flower mat, so I can tuck everything into the bottom corner here. It does hang off a little bit there, but I'm not really going to worry about that. I am going to put a little bit of washi tape on it just to kind of hold everything in place. And then I can cut this down to whatever size I want. So if I want to do A2 or 5 by 7 or 6 by 6 or whatever, I can cut that down when I'm done. I don't have to use this in its full size here, but I just want to make sure that everything's taped down. And I'm going to put a little piece of tape on my stencil here. So this is layer number 1 of the stencil, and I believe this is all the greenery. So we're going to start with some green ink from Altenew here. I'm going to mix up different companies of inks. This is the Jade ink. And I'm just going to use a little blending brush and blend into the green. Now, I love the Ton stencils because, number one, they are very easy to line up. If you have something where you can tuck it in the corner, even if you don't have a stencil mat, stick it in the corner of your MISTI. That's another thing you can do. I like the stencil mat because it's easy to clean up with the ink. It just wipes right off. And it holds everything from kind of slipping around, too. Use any kind of inks you have. Dye inks, I think, work the best because they tend to dry very quickly. So when you go into the next layer, your ink is already dry, so you don't have to worry about smudging the first layer of ink. So sometimes when you use pigment inks, the ink is not completely dry, and then it smudges when you go to put the second layer on. So as long as you're dry in between layers. The other thing is dye inks are kind of translucent, so each layer you can still see a little bit of layer underneath, where pigment inks are a little more opaque usually. So just keep that in mind. It's all in the results that you want, but you use what you want. You can use paste. If you are somebody who likes like lunar paste or something like that, you can definitely do that. So I pretty much have all of my greenery stenciled down here. And then there's a little center area here, which would be the little stamens of the flower. I think that's what it's called. And I'm going to go in with some yellow, which is Sun-Kissed from Altenew. And we're just going to kind of pounce some of those in. You could do yellow, you could do black, whatever you want to do. Okay, just kind of pounce some of that in. So that's stencil 1, and it actually has a number 1 on the stencil. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Normally, I fill that in with like paint or ink so you guys can see it. There you go. You can see that number 1. Okay. All right, so we're going to set that aside and move on to our next layer, which is layer number 2. In the corner here, it has number 2. And we're just going to tuck that right in. We want to make sure that that's lined up. Looks like it's pretty lined up to me. Put our piece of tape in there. And I'm going to use some more Altenew inks. I have a couple different colors here. So we're going to use Pink Pearl. And we have a light pink brush here. And I'm just going to kind of hold the center down. You can spray these with some Pixie spray. Pixie spray is designed to hold stencils in place so that these little fine areas, like you just saw there, don't move around. So I would recommend doing that. I did not do that before I started here. But anytime you have fine stencils like this, where there's a little detail, you want to make sure that that's held down and not moving as you're stenciling. So just be gentle, take your time. Don't press too hard with your blending brush. I do recommend a blending brush over a domed foam blender or foam blender, just because I think the brush gets over some of the areas and doesn't get caught up. I think sometimes when I use the foam blenders, they get caught up on the stencil. It snags. So using a brush for me, I have less of that pulling at the stencil. And the first layer does not have to be super neat. A lot of times the first layer gets covered up by the other layers, just like when we're doing layered stamping. And I like to start with my lightest color and go to my darkest color. So layer 1 is the biggest area. It's going to be the lightest color for me because it's going to be the base layer. Everything else is going to build upon this base layer. This is the perfect color for this flower, by the way. This is Pink Pearl from Altenew. It kind of has a little corally undertone to it. I just picked it because it was a light pink. Okay. Pull that layer off. That looks pretty already. Okay, so that's layer 2. Layer 3, we're just going to continue to build upon this flower. There's layer 3. We're going to tuck that number into the bottom corner. This assures us that we're lined up correctly because I'm using this stencil mat and my paper is taped down into that corner. I know when I put this stencil on top that I'm lined up pretty accurately. Now you might have to do a couple of slight adjustments, but I think that looks pretty good right there. And we're going to continue with Rouge from Altenew. And I'm going to use the same blending brush. And you can see how that's a little bit of a darker coral color. Beautiful pinkish orange. Perfect for peonies. That just worked out in my favor. Now peonies come in pink, they come in white, they come in pink and yellow, they come in a orangish, fuchsia, yellow, mixed with pink. So there's some purple ones. So you are only limited by your own imagination. I love how these kind of pop off the page. So you can make them any way you want. I did some in a beautiful purple color not too long ago. They look amazing. So I love peonies because they're kind of like fake roses, right? They smell really nice. They bloom. They're big. They're beautiful. They're in your face. The only thing I don't like is that, ants are attracted to them. Yuck. But I know my mom always grows these and picks them and puts them in a vase on the table. And they're so fragrant. The whole house just smells so beautiful and fresh. And this is a great interpretation of these flowers that Effie has created with these stencils, and you definitely want to check out. She has quite a few in her floral collection. So there's sunflowers, there's poppies, there's other peonies, there's pansies. So she has lots of beautiful, beautiful floral stencils that make these kind of elegant, timeless, classic looking images that you can use all year round. You can use them for, birthday, thinking of you. Anything. Congratulations. Wedding. Baby. Anything, really. These stencils just make stunning cards. Alright, once I'm pretty happy with the layer of color I have here, and again, this is dye ink, so it will dry back and it'll blend into the other layers, so it will look pretty nice. Let's reveal this layer. Look at that. Look at that. So easy to do. And we have one more layer to do. It is really this easy, you guys. I have not used this stencil before. I got it at my last stamp show, was cleaning up my stamp room, and then found it and was like, hey, I didn't use this one yet. So here is layer 4. Again, going to tuck it into the bottom right-hand corner. And for this one, I'm going to go to a little bit smaller brush. And for my last layer of color, I'm going to use Coral Berry from Altenew. And just repeat that process. And again, use the inks that you have. You don't need to buy special inks. You probably have a couple of colors of inks that you can do this on. And because these are stencils, they're very easy to line up. If you're somebody who's afraid of doing layering stamps, you might want to try layering stencils first. And this one only has 4 layers, so it's very easy to do. Don't be afraid to try it out. And again, the amount of classiness you have in this design, it's just very pretty. And I add like a little shimmer on here. Whoop. And then my hair is caught underneath the stencil. Whoopsie, let me get tweezers and pull that out. That's not part of the show. This is the best part. When you get to the end and you know you're at the end and all you want to do is just kind of get through it and then be able to reveal how beautiful it is. And make sure you check out the Tons YouTube channel. Effie has a ton of videos, no pun intended there, on her other stencils. I have a small handful of them, but she's always coming out with new ones, and they're all season, so not just beautiful florals. And wow, there it is. That is definitely the wow factor. Again, this is called the Peony, Pretty Peony Close-Up Layering Stencil. I'm sure there's probably a die as well. I don't have the die for this one that you can cut all of that out, but that, again, just timeless looking. Very beautiful. And you can see how those colors just work so beautifully together. All right. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can go check out the Ton at thetonstamps.com. Again, this one is the Pretty Peony Close-Up Layering Stencil. I hope you had fun watching me make this. If you have any questions, post them down below. And let me know in the comments, what is your favorite flower? I'm curious. Do you like peonies or not like peonies? Let me know. My favorite flower is actually the lily. I can't think of the name of it right now. It's the hot pink lily. You guys will have to help me think of the name of it. I'll think of it after the fact, of course. Stargazer. There we go. Stargazer lily is my favorite. So we'll have to get Effie to make us some stencils with that. But I do like peonies and, of course, roses and things like that. But I like them in the garden. I don't like them in the house. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget your thumbs up on the way out. If you're new to my channel, please click that subscribe button. Would love to have you. And then you'll get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep on stenciling. Bye!